What's doing? It's Don doing stuff, and you're listening to the Roman Empire podcast. What's doing? Welcome back to the Roman Empire podcast.
Nice. Wait, what was that? The what podcast?
The Roman Empire.
I like it. It's cool. This took me by surprise. I didn't know which podcast I was on. You know what I mean? I was like, am I on the right podcast? Like, what are we talking about here? So this is officially the name. Is this going to be a cheat code as a broadcast thing, or do you just? I don't know. I can't tell when you're telling the truth, bro. You sound so sincere.
No.
Sincere when you talk. I just believe anything Don says. But like, sorry. Continue. Sorry. Continue.
So welcome to the podcast. I haven't even introduced my guest today. I'm pretty sure they know exactly who you are from just hearing your voice. We'll get into it and I'll talk about the podcast. But so the Roman Empire podcast is about art and travel. It is part of the Cheat Coders Network.
This is the first time I'm hearing it first live. He didn't even give me a heads up before it. Like, I'm a surprise, this guy.
I should have primed you. I should have told you what the show was about.
I didn't know what I signed up for. We'll be here now.
But ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast, the Roman Empire podcast. I would like to welcome my guest. I mean, you've already heard him talk, and you may have heard him on the Cheat Coders podcast. But introducing rapper, entrepreneur, Sydney-sider turned Londoner, Nats Blazin.
You know what? I feel comfortable. I feel like I can step away because obviously I have my own podcast with Raf, but this feels good. Don's a good friend. I feel like it's a familiar face. It's a bit of a different dynamic, but I don't feel any pressure. I can just talk, laid back. Just let it be, man. Roman Empire.
That's that podcast name. Cool. Anyway, man, how have you been?
Very good.
How have you been?
Yeah, very good. Just living, I guess. Well, since I know what this podcast is about in terms of I'm in London. It's going to be a new audience since it's your show, but long story short, been here for about 2-3 months, but I feel like only in the past 2 weeks I've really immersed myself with the actual London life, if you can call it that. So a bit of just a quick backstory. When I first got here, I was living with relatives. Very fortunate that I didn't have to go through the actual real struggles where some people might have to be living, couch surfing or Airbnb for a while, eating into their savings. I kind of just eased into it easily. I was living just outside of London in another county, so I could have I got to sort of settle in on my own terms, and I took the leap, and now I'm here. I've started work. I've renting an apartment. I've never lived outside of home before, so now I'm in another country. I'm one or the other with extremes. It's like either I'm living with my family, and I'm like, nah, living in another place is enough. I'm just going to go jump to another country and just see what happens. So here we are.
But that's what it is, man. I mean, changing something immediately helps you to grow even more. So I'm really glad that you took the jump to.
Well, you did have a lot to do with it, Don. Mind you, we've talked about it on my podcast, but
I'm really glad. But I wanted to talk about that decision of moving to London, and how has that at all influenced your creativity or influenced your music? Because you were telling me that, and I don't know if this is public knowledge yet, but Nats Blazin is working on a little bit of a mixtape, a little bit of fire mixtape.
I don't know if I can even call it a mixtape. Where do I even begin? What do you want me to touch on first? The move or the music, or just go in?
So did your moving to London inspire you to do the mixtape? What inspired you to do the mixtape?
Okay. Because I know for a fact I've been wanting to do music again for a long time. And, I had every luxury. I have the luxury to do it. like I live at home with my parents. I had a job. I had a very stable routine before. Like I had a thing going for like this was what 2017, the whole year. Like I very well could have done it then, but for most that maybe followed me music or like the network and friends and stuff, they would know I haven't really been active, like properly active with music. I can't even remember the last song I did apart from the one that I released this year. There hasn't really been anything. We haven't done any videos. I've dropped nothing basically for a while. And I know for a fact this is something that it's what I'm passionate about it, but it wasn't ever an idea to pursue it again properly. I just did it for myself, really.
Right.
Now, in terms of was the idea for me to make a mixtape? Is that what you're saying? Like, did I start the mixtape and then go to London, or was me moving to London inspired the mixtape? I'd say a bit of both.
Yeah,
I'd say the move came first. That was the biggest priority because the music was always a part of me. I feel like it's always like, as a musician, respectfully, I think you would feel the same way. Regardless if I'm how active or inactive I am, it's always going to be a part of me, no matter what. Even when I'm probably friggin' 60, I'll probably be writing a few bars here and there, just muck around with mates, when we're old. And if, for example, we don't make it, we can just laugh about it and look at our videos of our early days, that kind of thing. But it was always something I wanted to really get back into, because I know, like, when I look back in life, some of the most happiest moments of my life, like I have to really agree now, is when I was making music and putting it out there, putting that energy out. I miss that feeling, and I haven't felt that in a long time. Now I figured, like, staying in one spot, it's not going to happen. Like, I'm not getting the inspiration that I need. I'm not, like, what can I write about if I'm just living the same thing all the time, kind of thing. It's just sometimes you need a push. Doesn't matter what kind of push. Doesn't have to be the exact in that lane. Like, I don't need to get signed to suddenly start making music. Sometimes it could be something simple as a career change, and in my case, moving to another country. And I'd have to say, like, for me, music wasn't the top priority last year. It wasn't like I need to do this. It's just something I wanted to do, but I know I needed some sort of change just for me personally. And that's how we were talking about this sometime around this time last year when we met at Star Bar or something.
It doesn't matter which bar. It doesn't matter which bar.
And I was just like, I was still dwindling on the idea. Like, I don't know, man. Like, should I do it? Like, it wasn't even like a proper. It wasn't a set decision. It was still something like should I or should I not kind of thing. And I remember, like, the first thing is to just do it. Just freaking do it. And I'm like, whoa, kind of thing. Because I was a bit like, I don't know what I'm doing right now at that time. And it kind of, everything from that point snowballed into what it is now. And sorry, I'm kind of getting off course with my storylines.
No, it's okay.
Like, that was the first priority. Like, what am I going to do to make this work? I've got a steady income. I've got enough savings, but, like, you don't really know how to prepare for something like this. I've never done it before, you know what I mean? And in terms of change, like, I've never even moved out of the roof with my parents kind of thing. Like, washing my clothes was part of the challenge. You know what I mean? Like, it's not even just about moving into another place. Like, when I tell you I freaking jumped. I kangarooed the F out of that shit kind of thing. Because it started off with, like, maybe I should trial it. Like, let's move out of home. Let's rent near the city. Let's, I don't know, maybe move to another state. I was starting to look into that. And it just kept getting bigger and bigger. And eventually I'm just like, nah, let's just go. And this is the last time I can do it.
I like that. Yeah, I like that I kind of just went, you should do it. Like, it wasn't more the, you should. Yeah. It was more the, you've got more to gain than you've got to lose.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know
absolutely. I mean? And I'd like to tell you now, I can do my own washing. I learned how to wash my own clothes. Only took 31 years, but yeah, I do my own washing. I've started to cook. I think I'm starting to become a lot more desirable to the women because, like, I can do all these independent things now. I'm just being real.
Mate, that's amazing. See, if that's what's come out of you moving to London, then that's.
I tell you what, it took me moving to another country to learn basic chores. That's what I've learned.
But okay, so here's a thing, and I've noticed like with Filipino families. So you and I are
Yes.
both Filipino. Filipino families and a lot of
Mhm.
Asian families will stay with their in their family homes for much
Yep.
longer than than other
It's almost
cultures.
normal. It's actually normal for that, I reckon. Like, I think it'd be the what I get from even just my cousins, and you see, I don't know about your relatives, moving out is like the weird, like
Mm.
taboo. It's like, "Oh, why would you move out? Why do you need to move out with a partner or something?"
Yeah, my mum would always say like, just stay with us and save.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I'd be like, I could do that. I could do that moving
Hmm.
out as well. And one of the reasons for me like moving out was I can't bring a woman home to my parents' home.
That's a classic Don
Like,
response. I got a lot of relatives that listen to my podcast, so I'm gonna stay anonymous on that topic. That's not the reason
you know
why
what I mean,
I
like
moved out. I just like my own space.
but that's
I'm
the
joking.
extension
Yeah,
of
yeah.
it, that you have your own
Absolutely. Yeah,
space. You
yeah.
know what I mean? Like if you want to have friends over, then in the middle of the night, then
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can.
yeah.
You don't disturb your family and all
Absolutely.
these
Yeah.
things. But it is really interesting that Asian cultures, they do tend to stay at home longer, and I think it's because it's a very family
It's a cultural
oriented
thing, eh? Yeah.
type. Yeah, it's a very family oriented type culture. But I digress. We here to talk about
Yeah,
music
yeah, yeah.
and
Music
travel.
and travel.
You went to London. You were staying with your
Yeah.
family
Yep, yep.
first of all, your relatives. But you traveled around Iceland or something, right? Iceland or Greenland?
Iceland. I went to Iceland for about a week. That was probably a month in to. I haven't done as much
Yeah.
travel like as I could, but that's the funny thing, right? Like, I had the idea I'm gonna just hammer out mass heaps of travel within the next. It's been 3 months, but I've really only done Iceland and London. And London in itself, there's so much to see. Like,
Right.
there's still so much to see. You know what I mean? It's massive, dude.
massive.
Like,
It's
I'm just like,
massive.
oh, I don't know if 2 years is enough anymore. Just being here now, and it's taken me like already this
Yeah.
amount of time just to properly live in the city, and I'm discovering new things every day, kind of thing. But did you want me to talk about Iceland or like what was the what do you?
Well, sorry, yeah, we're going on a tangent.
Yeah.
The initial question was, yeah, your mixtape. So you moved to London and then you wanted to do the mixtape?
Yeah, okay, sorry. Yeah, we're getting way off course. I'm like talking about random shit. Sorry, bro. Hey, pilot, it's all good. It's all good. This is where we trial and test your podcast.
It's
cool.
it's this is what happens when you talk to your mates on podcasts, because we just talk and talk about anything.
Yeah, let's try and
and
stick to the
everything.
topic because I need this too. I started the mixtape because I knew that I was leaving the country. So in Sydney, let's say maybe November is when I started.
Right.
Not even November. Was it November? Yeah, I'd say probably October, November. I started really getting into like writing properly. I set up, like, dusted the mic, set it all up just to feel like I'm in it again. And it came because I knew the moment you decided, like, that's where it begins. It's not when you leave the country. It's not like
Yep.
the day that I arrived here. The journey begins the moment you're actually like, nah, this is happening. I've already booked the freaking like, there's intervals, there's little moments where it just gets realer and realer. First was the visa, and even the visa, I was like, oh yeah, we'll see. I'm just getting it to get it. As soon as I got approved, I'm like, well, I've paid
Yep.
this much. What's next? Then I talk to my relatives. Can I stay when I come there? It's like, yes, no, you're more than welcome. Obviously, the Filipino culture thing. It's like, come by, we'll take care of you. I'm like, oh, well, I've got that. That ticks off that box. And then I had a lot of money saved enough, and I'm like, I'm sort of doing a rough calculation. Can I live off this for a while? I'm like, well, I guess that checks
Yeah.
out. I think for me, it began the moment I bought the one-way ticket. I'm like, nah, that's it. Like, it'd be pretty ridiculous I pull out now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, after all that, it's like, nah, I don't
exactly.
know. I'm not.
Yeah.
I can't do it. Like that. So
Yeah.
that
So you
journey began.
it was like a set of
Set of
steps,
steps.
or yeah,
The
a lot
realer
of-
and realer I
all of
got,
these
and a
different
lot of people,
events,
travelers,
yeah.
will relate to this. Like, you don't even have to be a musician. Everyone I've talked to, like, has experienced the exact same thing. Cold feet, the excitement initially, because you're not properly invested yet. the moment you say like, yeah, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
Of course it's exciting, but it's because there's no risk. You haven't actually fucking booked anything yet. You're just like, yeah, I'm gonna live in London. That's hectic. As soon as it gets getting realer and realer closer to the date, that's when you start going like, shit, what have I done? Or crap, this is happening.
Yeah,
what am I
getting myself into?
And
Yeah.
it's a lot of inner battles. Like for me, especially coming out from, I don't know, I had a pretty like rough period before that, which I could say potentially was partly the reason for the move. I wouldn't say the full reason, but partly what drove me into making somewhat of a change. But yeah, getting what am I getting at here? Whoa, what am I saying here? Help me out here, Dom. What was I talking about? My train of thought just keeps going.
It's all right. You were talking about a series of events and a series of things leading you up to the fact of moving to London, and then here's something I thought of something as
Whatever
you were talking about this.
Butt in, because like you know me, I get into fucking something's not right here, so just butting whatever. Anyway, keep going. Yeah.
No, mate, it's all good. It's all good. I wanted to take that what you were saying about the traveling and your booking, getting the visa and then finding out accommodation and finding out whether or not you could budget for it, and then all of these things. These events led you to being in London.
Yes.
Now, what events or what things lead you to make a successful release for a song?
Ooh.
Like,
that's a difficult.
Like in the past,
because for me it's always been
so.
Yeah, sorry.
So in the past, say for instance, shameless plug, you and I did New Girl, right? We did a song. From the inception of it, you had an idea for a song and you had already written parts of it, and you had found. So that was one event, and then a second event was you found a beat for it, and then the next event was, you called me and said, "Hey, do you want to do this song?" And you to do the hook for it, and then we worked on that, and then we recorded it, and then we did all of these things, and then eventually we were performing it in clubs, and
it became what it was.
Like it became what it was because of these particular events. Now, what events do you think are important to make a successful release for a song? Just like
it's very difficult, and I can only relate to that in the past because I haven't released anything now. And I get where you're coming at, because it's going to be the same principles I'm going to have to apply for this project that I have coming. But it has to be organic. It has to be natural, like 100%. It can't just be like, this is the date. Like, I know you can do that stuff later when it's a complete project, because you can properly brand it, you get the marketing done behind it. But the process of making the song, you really don't know. You can't put a deadline on creativity, because that's what it is. It's just creating. Like even the timeline of how it happens, you can't pinpoint. Moods change. Our thought processes change on a daily basis. Mine even more so. Yeah. My emotions are so sporadic. Some days I'm just like, I'm done. I'm not even going to do this thing. I'm over it. And then the next day I'm like, right now I'm so inspired because I'm talking to you about it. But it's
the creation of the song.
The creation of the song is pivotal. Yeah, okay. Like if you've got something and you're like, this is it. I got something going here. I need to ride this out while I can. If there's this window that you've made for yourself. Like it's almost putting this pressure on yourself. You don't need a fucking label for that shit. It just happens that way. And I don't know. That's the same with you. Like, I know you're a lot more, you're very calculated with how you do things, which I respect, because I know artists work differently. All I know is for me, every time I've released any of my songs in the past that I find worthy of release, it just happened. I can't tell you. I don't have a formula. It happened, and it spread in that way. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. What I'm trying to understand is so you were talking about there was self-doubt, or there was this I don't know what I'm getting myself into with the move to London. Does that happen for you when you're making music as well?
Of course, yeah.
Because I know that happens to me. Oh yeah, dude. That happens to me so much. You're talking about my process. My process is not necessarily calculated, but I try to make it so that it's easy for me to create
Yeah.
and come up with ideas. Whether or not it becomes a release and whether or not I'm happy with whatever it is a different story.
I think what I'm
And I
trying to
think
get
a
at
lot
with
of
you
that
is
is
your work ethic is what I respect. Like, it's not to the T,
Right.
but like I know you've got a constant. There's like almost a pattern, but not. But it is like you've got something going.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, that's what I get.
Yeah, it does. Yeah,
Just gonna open
yeah.
that window. It's freaking hot.
It's so good.
It's so hot in this room. Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so the I know for me, when it comes to writing a song, I will write it and I will get that that burst of inspiration that you were talking about. You like your there's this window of motivation or inspiration
Write it
that
out,
you
yep.
get. And I'll write it out and I'll write a song, and then afterwards I'll love it. I'll listen to it for, back and forward all the time, and I'll be like, yeah, this is a great song. And then I get to this point where I stop and go,
What happened?
no, I don't think this is such a great song
Yeah.
anymore. Now, and like, or it's like, oh, if I release this, what would people think? Or if I release this, what will be? I basically go into this self doubt, or this, what have I gotten
Yeah,
myself
yeah.
into?
And especially when you talk
type
about it, that's the
vibe.
thing. Like, this is gonna sound hypocritical of me. The fact that I'm even talking about it now, it's probably what I shouldn't be doing, because that's where the self doubt stems the most. Because you kind of put
Right.
things on a pedestal the more you talk about it, kind of thing. But the thing is, I'm really excited about the project, and that's when I started talking to, not publicly, but at least to friends. Like, I remember a couple of weeks ago, I'm telling you guys, I think I'm onto something. I'm really onto something here. I really want to complete this. I'm literally maybe 80-90% completion, and I'm telling you now. When was that we talked? Maybe like almost a month now.
Two
I think
weeks,
I think
2 or 3
longer.
weeks ago.
I've been stuck on that same, like, it
Okay.
hasn't moved. I'm still there. Like, that's what the creative process
Right.
can be like. You'll have a week where you just hammer out. It's just this amazing thing, and when you think you're that close to the finish line, suddenly bang, it's gonna take another month or two, and you're just stuck on this one little bit, and you're like, I don't know if I'm feeling this anymore. Like, the whole thing goes to shit. Now you're like, I don't know what I feel about this project anymore.
So you've written and you've recorded a bunch of songs already.
Yeah.
So you've got all of these
Yeah,
tracks,
yeah.
right? And it's just a matter of putting them into a compilation or putting them into a group or compilation of songs. What do you think it would take to finish that or to complete it? What are you trying to write more songs? Or are you trying to create?
I'll delve more into it, because I actually really want to talk about this project, because I think, like, sometimes it's a catch-22. Sometimes you think if you don't talk about it and it's private, there's less pressure, because you're not. No one knows. There's no risk, because it's like, what happened to that thing you're working on? At least right now, it's just our friends that know about it, and I've only let them down by not doing it. And I've done this so many times in the past. I've got so many different projects started, never finished, because once again, the self-doubt, the creation process took too long, scrapped it. Sometimes it can help on another end if you just put it out there. It's like, well, now I've put it out there, I gotta do it. So it's almost like I'm putting this pressure on myself by speaking about it to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're holding
It's
yourself
accountable. Like,
yeah.
well, I'm a joke if I don't do this now. I've told people that I'm 80-90% in completion of this track. Now, in order for me to finish this, I'll be completely honest with you, man. I'm only going to share this with your podcast. That's some special shit right there. I haven't even talked about this on the Cheat Coders, because I want to talk about it on the Cheat Coders when it's finished. That's why I haven't talked about it on Thingo. Right. So this is special right here, bro. You're getting it first. Peek inside my brain. Exclusive. Exactly. For me to finish this is the first project I've done that is actually in chronological order, from start to finish, and it's an entire piece. Like, I listen to songs here and there, like, sometimes you have a lead single, you can put it out there, and then that's like a peek into an album. That's a traditional way of doing things musically. This one, I don't feel comfortable putting a song out, because once again, self-doubt. I don't feel this, it's not complete unless you hear the entire project in its entirety. That's why I can't just release the songs. It feels like if I put this song out, you're only getting a piece of it, but you don't get the whole story. You don't know what's going on. And when I chronological order,
and
I'm literally
you were saying that it is a story, right?
It's a story, yeah. It's a story. It's 5 tracks are finished, and I feel like I'm a writer, like a novelist. I'm writing this story, and I'm nearly at the end, and I can't think of the the ending, bro. Like I'm on the ending. I'm
The
in
finale. The
It's
finale.
got like there's the pressure now. It's like, well, I've really spilt a lot of stuff on this. I've really delved into it. I don't want to get too deep into it, but like it's literally a range of emotions and things that have happened in the last year. And the longer it goes, I don't want it to get to 2 years and then 3 years and then never at all. You know what I mean? It's still pretty
Right.
fresh, you know? It delves
Right.
into like I don't know, when shit went down with everything and like literally the move. It inspired what inspired the change in the move, which is perfect for this podcast that we're talking about because it directly correlates to that
Yeah.
topic as well. And
Yeah.
that's where I'm at. I'm stuck at the end. And the thing is, what makes it difficult is because while I'm writing this, I'm living it too. You know what I mean? I don't know if I want to
Yeah.
make it a happy or sad ending. You know what I mean? I don't know it yet myself. I mean, I feel happy. Like before, I was like it was going a bit downhill. Like the mood of the tape was like it's getting sad. I guess it's gonna be a sad
Yeah.
story. Shit got really good. Oh, whoa, wait, let me like write this up. It's getting real good now, kind of thing. So
Okay.
yeah, there's been a lot
Yeah.
of add this, throw away this,
Ups and
but
downs.
it's
Yeah.
very stripped down. It's a short. That's why I don't know if I can even call it a mixtape or an EP or an album. I don't know what to call it. All I know is it's what it is. It's a story. It's real. It's me.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're songs over
I-
beats, but it's just yeah, real shit.
I don't want to impose on your like interpretation of it, but my understanding of your mixtape is that it is it's basically a story of your journey from
A to B.
you know
Yeah.
all of the stuff that happened in Sydney and then moving to London and then now the final act for your mixtape or the final act in your story isn't written yet because it hasn't
Yeah,
happened
yeah.
yet. Is that
Pretty much, man. Like I might need to make a part 2 of it because I've realized I'm catching up to like where I am now. It's like, oh, I think I gotta live a bit more. That's why I'm just doing a lot of sporadic things.
Right.
Like going back, you asked me about Iceland. That was a very last minute plan. That was me. This is the kind of shit I was doing just to get inspiration. I was like, I've got all this time now. I've got the luxury to write. I'm settled in. This was when I was at my auntie's. I'm not feeling anything to write. That trip was booked out of purely like I just need to like not think about music for a bit and just find myself in that sense of just and that was my first solo
Yeah.
adventure or whatnot. And yeah, a lot of inspiration flooded from that. It's crazy as well. But it's
That's
just
awesome.
it's a weird thing, man. Like it's a weird it's a real power struggle within myself all the time. I feel like I'm always competing just against me. I'm not thinking about anything or anyone. It's always me. And like when I think about anyone as well, it's more the self-doubt, the self-consciousness. Of course, as artists, we're always thinking, what do people think about us? You know, like sometimes a lot of the things I feel like I do is very irrational. And then there's obviously like, oh, they probably think, you know, this and this about me. Like, what is this guy doing kind of thing. And
right?
yeah, I did the Iceland thing, and in my mind, I'm like, I want to travel more, but then I at the same time, I'm battling with myself, like, I want to work though, like, I don't want to just travel to
Yeah.
travel. You know what I mean? And some people might think that's insane. It's like, dude, traveling is amazing. It's like, it's great as well, but there's got to be a purpose behind it. I feel like there's always an engine within me. When I was in Iceland, it was great. I won't take away anything from that trip. It was an eye opener. It was amazing.
Yeah.
But there was time.
The photos look amazing, man.
Like the photos don't do it justice. Like that's something I'm never gonna forget. And I was so happy I did that by myself. But there was times, I'll tell you right now, like maybe 3/4 into the trip, there's that anxiety. Like, but am I like, I'm not making music or I'm not doing something that counts. I'm just having a holiday, but I'm not.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's always like a back and forth. Like,
Right.
I don't know. It's hard to gauge. You know?
Describe.
Yeah. So like, I could have went traveling more. Like, I'll tell you right now, I could have just right after Iceland just keep the ball rolling. But I felt like instead I decided to just move here. I feel like I need to work. I need to do work. I need to be working towards something. You know what I mean? In that
Right.
sense, I don't know.
Were you recording or were you trying to write? Were you writing while you were traveling through Iceland?
A little bit, yeah, quite a bit. But it gets hard, man. Traveling is
Yeah.
actually really exhausting. That's why, like, even
Yeah.
8 days in Iceland, in my mind, I was thinking like proper backpacking, like, literally live off a backpack and just plane to plane, train, different country. While that's great, I don't know if I
Yeah.
can actually do that, eh? I was so tired. So tired. I'm tired just living now, just being normal. So I don't know if it's something I can do. Um, I think it's age, bro. We're just getting old, man. When you're
Getting
young, like
old.
maybe like
Don't say that. Don't
I
say
think
that. Don't
like
say that.
just to be real, like yeah, like I'm young here. I think I've always been like that, but like it's the age thing
Mm.
does take a bit of a toll on you. I think maybe if I was still in my mid 20s, different story. Like I can take my alcohol, I can
Yep.
take the not even sleeping, like days where you just don't sleep. I can't do that anymore, dude. Like
Yeah.
literally, my days are write off. If I sleep at a weird time, write off. And traveling will do that to you. You can't.
Yeah.
There's no routine. It's just whatever goes, kind of thing.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you think that you need a routine, or
I
is
do
it
need a
just
routine.
like
Yeah, I need a routine. I think like what I want to
yeah,
do now is like, yeah, the travel's great because that gives me great inspiration. But I've got this sort of thing going. Like I'm living. I've got the luxury to do what I want. I would go to work. I get money. Then I have the weekends. I can do that to travel as well if I want to. Um,
yeah, man, you could pop over to Paris for
yeah.
the weekend. You could go to like Amsterdam
Oh,
or something.
100%. Yeah,
Dude.
yeah, it's the world's on your doorstep literally when they say that. It's crazy. It's crazy. If you wanna do a trip, man, let me know. You're not too far, we can meet somewhere halfway. It'd be fun.
Dude, I think I'm like 16 hours away
Oh,
from
is it?
you, mate.
Well, that's why
Yeah.
okay, I did not know that. I'll make it casual.
But yeah, no, just casually, just pop over to
Pop over.
London, mate. Just
Alrighty, you can chill out here, crash in the couch.
pop over.
All good, mate.
That would that would be amazing, though. That would be amazing. Here's a question to ask you about your mixtape.
Yes.
Could you leave it as so some movies have a to be continued, or Nat's Blazing will return in
Yeah.
the next installment. So could you
Just drop
release
it
it
now,
as
like what
this is my story so far,
I've never.
and the end of it is there's not, because it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
Like you were
Okay.
saying that your final act hasn't happened yet. So could you release it as that, or do you want it to be a all-encompassing, it needs closure sort of thing?
I think regardless, it was always gonna have somewhat of a to be continued thing because that's what life is anyway, kind of thing.
Yeah.
When I say it needs the completion, I just don't feel it's complete as a whole. As in, I don't feel I've said everything I needed to say within this range of topic. Because there's gonna be a point where I'm not gonna be in that. I'm gonna be used to this now, like this environment. I'll be like, I
Yeah.
know I can't be writing about what I was feeling leaving Sydney and just arriving here. That feeling's going to be gone eventually. So I feel like
Yeah.
I haven't completely said everything yet for this. It might be only 6 or 7 songs, to be honest, with no choruses. Yeah, that's right. You got to listen to me just talking shit for like
No choruses, just
50
straight
bars.
up. Yeah.
Just talking. Want to hear me talk for like 5 minutes each song? Get my mixtape.
But mate, that's your. But see, that's what I like about it, because you're telling a story. It's not necessarily like a chorus is just what comes from a pop song.
Yeah.
And these songs, I don't think you would consider them pop. These are just your stories, and these are just your interpretation of
Absolutely.
your experiences.
Yes.
Like,
This is
so I know that you always say like no choruses.
yeah,
but
I joke about that.
I
I'll tell you right now, Don. This is what I'm trying to like sort of convey of it, and I'm sort of it's hard to explain, but now that you put in that way as well, for me, just personally, it's always been hard for me to communicate. Like me building the social skills I have now. Like I'm a pretty awkward dude. You know me. I can be pretty awkward.
You and I both, mate. You and I
I don't know,
both.
man. You're quite. I don't know. You're quite approachable. You know how to carry a conversation. I'm really socially awkward. But I think that's what comes with being an artist. But the thing is, like, there's just some things, even on the podcast, that I can't talk about the way that I can in a song. If that makes sense. Like this is literally
I like that.
the most honest way I can be is through my music. There's no other way. Like I've tried it so many times with Raf, like talking in podcasts. We get pretty deep at some topics and subjects, but just some things, some emotions I cannot let out unless it's on a song. And like the way I say it,
Yeah.
the way it doesn't come down just to the lyrics, just the way I deliver it at the time. Some songs I can't re-record. Like I hear them and I'm like, fuck, I should have said it better this way. I should have maybe did this bar this way, but I can't emulate that exact emotion anymore. That's how I felt when I recorded that
Right.
song. And there's a song there that I did.
Right. Whoa. I think you cut out, mate. Yo. Up. Let me call him back. Here we go.
So sorry, did I cut off or did you cut off? Either.
It froze, but yeah, I'm not sure what happened. But
Alright.
sorry, you were
Back
saying that, yeah, you were talking about how you don't express yourself as well.
That's right, yeah.
You know, in talking and in conversation as well as you can in a song.
Yeah, communicating with
And-
anyone,
and-
whether it be family, friends. I very rarely can open up to a certain degree as opposed to music. Music is literally like, because I'm talking to myself most of the time in music, so it's really the most honest form of expression.
It's your
The
purest.
yeah.
purest form
And
of
especially with this
expression.
music, like even my old music, like there'd be a bit of a facade because a lot of my old stuff, I was very polarized in terms of the music I'd make. A lot of it would be there'd be a facade. Some of the songs I'd come off very cheeky, maybe even arrogant, maybe a lot more confident, very playful. But then I got other stuff, and it's really deep and it's the rawest form. I don't take away anything from both. They're both real to an extent. But the difference with this tape, it's just real, completely real. Like I'm not putting on anything. The events, what was going through my mind at the time, and when I recorded it as well. It's literally like what's it called? Like a voice log, like literally a log, like a journal, if you can call it that.
Yeah.
Of what I was feeling at these moments in
Yeah,
time,
it's
and that's
so-
why it's so important
Right.
that I need to get it done within this window while I can, because I feel like it's slipping away. Because I'm getting a lot happier done. I'm getting too happy to make this.
Because the name of your mixtape, are we allowed to say the name of your
It's
mixtape?
called Black Heart. I'll talk about it
Right.
now because sorry.
And yeah, just for context for that joke, the name of the mixtape is Black Heart.
Yes.
So when he's getting too happy,
I
it's
can't call
just,
it White Heart. I've
changes
said
the
Black Heart in
complete-
every song. I can't be like, oh, it's Pure Heart now. I'm good. What was I gonna say? Do you want to know more about
Yeah,
it?
you were going to talk about Black
Yeah,
Heart.
yeah. So
Yeah, go for it, man.
little backstory. Black Heart. How did that come about? I made a song called Black Heart, 2005. I'm not gonna say it
Whoa,
relates
right.
to that exact topic, but that song, if you go on my YouTube, I'll give you the link if you want to plug it for me. That'll be really good.
Right.
If you drop the link there.
We'll put it in the description.
Exactly.
Right.
Okay. And it's basically literally me when I was maybe was I 20 yet or 18? It's 10 years ago, dude. It's such a long time ago. This is a song I'm literally having an inner battle with myself. The first verse is, what do I say? Don't be mad at Nats. He just got a temper when he's mad. So it's me, Nathan, as in me, the soft, socially awkward person saying, look, just disregard this Nats Blazin character that I'm putting on. He's a bit more edgy. He's a bit more, in that sense, more confident and can be a bit more in your face. The next verse is me in my performance mode just saying, yeah, Nathan's bitch, being a little bitch. It's your fault. That's why we're not famous. I'm literally having an argument with myself. And then the last verse, I just summarized the whole thing, like the story of where I am at that time. Like, I don't know. It's an
Mm.
interesting song. I actually really like that song. Personally, it's one of my favorite songs I've ever done. Fast forward.
It sounds like it's like an inner monologue type
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. It sounds like Stan.
Like you
Yeah.
yes, that's I was thinking that.
Eminem's song Stan, yeah, pretty much. Everyone said like
Yeah.
I just sound like Eminem back then. It's like, yeah, well, yeah, I was heavily influenced and I was just trying to be like Eminem. So I'm not gonna lie, yeah. Hey, you know what's funny as well?
Well,
You know
yeah.
what's funny? What's
What?
Nats backwards?
Dude, no way. No, you didn't. Is that for real?
I didn't intend on that. It just happened. Coincident. I was like, wait
Is
a
that
minute,
is
my
that
name backwards. Fucking Stan.
mate. Wow.
Mind
Mind blown.
blown.
Just trace back all of your influences
This is
to
fucking Eminem.
this
Yeah,
moment.
exactly. So we fast forward
Eminem is your is
idol back then.
is one of your biggest influences.
Well,
Yeah,
10
man.
years, that was 10 years ago. And that's the kind of person I was. I
Yep.
used to just really literally, it was, I, I don't know if it was borderline split personality disorder. I pretty much played it off as
Mm.
that, but it could be. I think we all have that complex to an extent. I don't know how much more mine was affecting me in that sense. But fast
Right.
forward, Black Heart now, a lot of times change. And it's really like, I've really combined those personalities together now because it's taken time for me to really
Mm.
own it. Like, yeah, no, I actually do music. A lot of things I used to think of back then was like, like people only like me because I do music or da 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 because of this. That's all out of the door. And I don't really have a following now. So really, it's just the artists that I'm putting out.
You
Yeah, sorry.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just the one person
So
now.
go ahead. I was just gonna say that yeah, I was just gonna say that your creative process, you're just creating just to
To
create.
create,
Now.
yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and like you look, yes, look, I'm gonna still say yeah, you already introduced me as Nats Blazin, which is it's pretty much my name. Like that's my nickname anyway. But I did go through a sort of a title official change, and like I'm saying it more in the songs, but I'm like Nathan Blazin is what I'm sort of gonna brand it as, and
Right.
that's what that represents. It's just these like the two versions that I used to think of myself. It's just the one person. It's the one entity. The name doesn't even matter. It's like this is it. This is just,
Mm.
this is saying it as real as possible. I'm not just trying to make something up.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of growth, and I haven't really talked about why it's called Black Heart. I just talked about some other random shit. My bad.
Do you want to talk about? Do you want to talk about bipolar? Do you want to talk about that stuff? I mean, we don't
fine.
have to talk about it.
I don't mind. What do you?
So, like you were
wanna
saying,
know?
that. So you were saying that. Wait, do you suffer from bipolar disorder?
Borderline. So it's not the full. It's not the
Borderline,
full
okay.
blown where I need to take the medication, but there's certain
Okay.
there's certain things I need to do to maintain, and that's where it comes into play with the routine. Like I need routine, and I know, and I need to basically stick to healthy habits, if you will. Because like I can be pretty much go or in bed for a week or two, and the thing is partly
Okay.
owning these things, like finally knowing, and that's what I think what I meant about the whole back then that personality complex I had, because I didn't really really figured it out. I hadn't really like know how to cope with these things. Like you do if you do enough unhealthy habits for a long amount of time, the damages can be detrimental, like emotionally and even physically,
Yeah.
if you really get it to that point. But owning it now, like I know how to sort of gauge my shit, kind of thing. Like it's okay to have lows. It's okay to be high. Don't get too high. Just high enough that it's
Yeah.
okay to be happy. It's okay to be sad. When before, it didn't seem like it was
Yeah.
before for me. I'd be worried about being too happy. Like, how ridiculous is that? Like, oh my God, like, you're happy now, but I'm thinking like, oh, this could crash down, and I'm already anxious about that. I'd say I've more of a severe anxiety complex, which everyone has to an extent, but it's something that really got out of
Yep.
control. it got out of control. And it got to a point that I did have to take, I had to go to therapy for a bit. I had to take medication for a bit, and that's all clear now. And that's spoken about in the music. I get really deep into that shit. Yeah, but I'm very open about it. I used to I didn't really like talking about it before. That's one of the things I do struggle talking about, but is what it is, I don't use it as a weakness anymore. I use it as I know myself way too much now that I don't think I feel unstoppable a lot of the times. Is what it is, It's like anything. Like, you see someone that loses their leg, or it can be anything. Someone that's got this condition. There's such a stigma with mental, that's what really grinds me a bit. Like, you think mental health, you just think either weak, or you just think, I don't know, crazy, lunatic, you know what I mean? Like, ooh, psycho.
It's because it's not, it's because it's not tangible as something like a scar or something. Yeah.
And get this example, right? Yeah. All right, for example, knock on wood, I don't want to lose my leg, but imagine if someone loses their leg or something. I'm just using this as an example out of everything you can get. Same thing. It's what you make of it from there. It could actually make you stronger. Like, you could be that guy running a marathon on one leg, and you see examples of people that they use things, tragedy or pain or something that they've gone through, and it makes them, either they become like emotionally stronger or run a freaking marathon with one leg. Like, it's amazing what something tragic or whatever happens to you, or what you make of it, kind of thing. That's kind of what I'm trying to get at here. You know what I mean? Like, it's literally like,
definitely,
it was something I was a bit self-conscious about it before, but now I'm just like, nah, whatever. Okay, because I use it as my pillar of strength. But you got to own yourself. This is who you are. So you make the most of it. Yeah.
I like how there is a parallel between your journey from Sydney to London, and your journey through this mixtape, or writing this mixtape, as well as your own personal growth. Like, all of those three things are running in parallel at the moment.
And look, back to your first question, Don. Like you said, like, was the mixtape started first, or was the move inspired the mixtape? It's exactly that. Like, because of these things, it's not like coincidence. It just happened. Like, of course I'm gonna write about this. This is amazing. Like, this is amazing material. Like, other people express different ways. I dabbled into like making a travel vlog a bit. I was doing a bit of vlogging and playing with that idea. But like, why not? This is the best thing I'm at, like, that I do. Of course I'm gonna write about it and make music about it. Like, when else am I gonna get this kind of inspiration again? Like, I'll be kicking myself 5 years from now. I'm like, you know what? I was going through all that stuff. I can't believe I didn't make a song, or at least a project. This is purely for myself. Like, there's no, I need to do it to make money or whatever. The only thing is for myself, and not letting the people down if I've told them already this is what I'm doing, kind of thing. At the end, it all boils down back to me, kind of thing. And I know as an artist, we all put that pressure on ourselves, and we all make our own stress or whatever, but it's part of it, That's what being a creative is about.
I like that that idea of it being a journal, or it being like a voice log of your journey. It kind of reminds me of when people go on holiday, they take lots of pictures to remind them of that particular trip. But your mixtape, in this sense, is the photo album.
That is it. That's it. That's exactly it, man. And like, it's not even a photo album. It's literally like just brain thoughts as well. That stuff you can't capture that in a photograph. Like, I could be rapping about something, but for me, when I listen to it, I think about like when I was in this hotel room writing this, eating a cup of noodles because I ran out of money, like shit like that. Like, it's really, for me personally, I love it. And like, you can agree, like, when you just out of the hat, when you think New Girl, what do you think of? I think about the backyard in my old house, bunch of friends having a good time. It's like these. That's what music does for you. It's the greatest thing you can make as an artist if it's really for yourself, because it'll give you these sparks of memory flashes. Like, fuck, I remember that. I remember the time, like, when you came over, when it was just an idea, and I played it for you, it was in the garage of my house. I don't even know if you remember that. And then we would storm. It's like, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
Remember
think I
that?
do remember that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It was just in your garage,
It was in
right?
my garage.
Yeah.
You came over, and that was like the first time I saw you in so long. The idea I'm going for, and I had the vocal of me singing it. It sounded so shit. I was like, look,
Yeah.
this is what I wrote. Do you reckon you could do something? And then you did the bridge, and it just snowballed into that, what it was. And
I still remember one of the first things that you'd said in the beginning of that is like, I can't sing, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. And then
on the skeleton track, eh? Yeah.
yeah. But you kept that in there. Yeah.
I don't know.
And I'm like, yes, that's perfect. It works so well.
If you listen to
It
the
works so
different
well.
versions, the polished version, yeah, it turned out well. I love that song. It's a
Oh,
good
man.
song.
It's such a fun song.
That's crazy.
Such a fun song.
Yeah, man. Crazy.
But yeah, New Girl, like shameless
Yeah,
plug,
yeah.
New Girl.
On my
It's on
YouTube,
Spotify.
yeah,
Check it out. Spotify, iTunes.
The original and the remix is on Spotify. Christian Joseph.
You put that back up,
Back.
right?
The New Girl video.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Put it back.
Why did you take it down in the first
Oh,
place?
because my ex was in it.
If you don't mind me asking.
Straight up.
Straight up.
I think
Straight
it's
up.
more than off.
Yeah,
His
no,
ex was in
straight
it. And that's why I took the majority of my videos, because she's in all of them.
Oh shit.
Come on, man. When you have a girlfriend back then, it's like, oh,
I know exactly
you
what
have
you
to
mean.
use your girlfriend. She'll be like questioning you, like, who's this bitch in your video clip? I had one other girl in my video clip, and I got lucky. I had to like be on good behavioral for a while just to get her on, and then ever since then, just the one. Like, you know, it's cool. It's part of the story.
My ex is also in that film clip.
Oh yes, yes. There's a lot of exes in that film.
Oh jeez.
Pause. Edit that out.
No, we can leave that in. That's hilarious.
Yeah,
That is
bad.
that is hilarious. It's just real. This is real. This is real talk.
I'm just being real, man. Like, I got nothing to hide. It's cool. You know what's a funny thing? Look, no disrespect. I'm not being a dick. It's funny, okay? It's just comedic value.
Yeah, go for it.
Raph edited New Girl.
Yeah.
Raph edited New Girl. I don't know if this was intention, but you could literally pull the New Girl video and just recast a new girl, because she's not in any of the clips with the rest of it. But we're not gonna do that because we're not. Hey, it wasn't that. But come on, like you could do that. But
Yeah,
I'm not gonna do
yeah,
that. 'Cause
yeah.
I'm not.
The way, yeah,
the
way he shot it. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Dude.
You could recast a new girl.
I was gonna say that I like that idea of you saying that, you know, you re-uploaded this, but you're also free to talk about your your acute bipolar disorder, because this is you, this is what's happened, and regardless of if it was bad or not, you're putting it out there and you're owning it. And,
That's it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know, it comes with maturity, growing up. It's cool.
getting old and not being able to stay up late and
I need a routine for a reason, because I might go crazy. No, I'm joking. It's a freaking stigma, man. People think mental illness, they automatically think you're like, have you taken your meds? I don't take meds, all right?
Yeah.
My meds is like running and having enough hours of sleep. That's all I need. I'm good, kind of thing. That's all it is.
it's being healthy. Yeah, right.
That's it. Exactly.
I'm so happy for you, man.
Thanks.
And I'm really glad that you took the trip to London.
Yeah, like I said,
Or moved to
I did
London,
it. Thank
actually.
you, man. Like, honestly, I was a bit of a mess back then, but you pushing me, that was actually a big thing. Like there was, I'll be honest with you now. Can I just open up real quick? There was a bit of it. I felt like, I know no one said this to me directly, but I've personally felt a big divide. There was either you on the spectrum and a bunch of people that were really all for it, like, yes. Like, and I know both ends were all in my good interest. And there were people like, don't do it. Like, knowing that how I was, or yada yada.
Mm.
And it was hard because then like some people like at the time I'd just be like, you're just being a hater or something, or like, oh, like that'll do it to you. Having this kind of disorder, you just like you automatically think the worst, or you just I don't know, you're sort of a person
Very
yeah,
cynical
cynical.
of
You don't want
people.
to, and I don't want to be that person anymore. That's shit kind of thing. At the end, like I
Mm.
think I really well, no, I don't think I know I made the right decision, and you know, it just comes to understanding. Some people understand it more, and some people won't. And I'm not putting down people that
Yeah.
were like that. I had a vibe that were like, nah, don't do it. I don't think it's good for you. Yada yada. It's like I know you were there just out of your best interest for me, but this was the right
Yeah.
decision. So if,
And again, if again, if anything happens, you still can go back to Sydney. It's not like, oh, this is your journey at this particular moment in time. It doesn't mean that it's the end
nah, not at all.
of it, end of your journey. Sort of
Not at
thing.
all. And that's just life, too,
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah,
Like
man.
2 years is really nothing. Now that I'm here, that's one thing I realized. Another big just because this podcast related to travel and music. Before leaving Sydney, I was thinking 2 years is so long. I'm gonna miss so much.
Hmm.
Like, so much is gonna. Now I'm here. I'm like, 2 years isn't enough. It's been 3 months, and it feels like I still feel new. And like, when you think about life, like how fast life goes anyway. Like I've been in Sydney for 30
Yeah.
years, and that's just year after year kind of thing. What's two kind of thing? I don't know what the future
Right.
holds. I don't know if I'm gonna stay or if I'm gonna leave. Like, it's really all up there. It's really eye opening. That's all I gotta say. I think you'd probably feel the same way, man. You're like in Singapore too. You've been there a bit longer than I.
Yeah.
I reckon you're feeling
Yeah.
the same
Yeah.
as I was feeling. Exactly.
Definitely, man.
Yeah.
We can talk about that off the
Yeah.
podcast.
It could be like,
We can share our
Yeah.
experiences.
off air.
Dude. Off air with Don and Nathan.
Experiences. Outer mind experiences. Haha.
Thank you so
No,
much for
thank you.
being on the
That's all
show, and talking about your journey and talking about your art, and also, man, talking about your afflictions, your disorder. That's a really brave thing to do, especially talking about
Yeah.
it on the internet and talking about it, putting it out there.
True, actually, I haven't really talked about it. I know it's all up in my music, but yeah, no, thank you. Like, I don't really like I never really have a segue into it, so it's kind of good. It's good.
But yeah, man, thank you for talking about all of that stuff. All right, thanks for tuning into the Roman Empire. This is Don doing stuff. I hope you're doing well.
Exactly.